Namaste, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so grateful that you are here with us right now.
This is a powerful time to bring together all of the conscious beings of love and light. And we certainly welcome you to this community because tonight we're going to be exploring, we're going to be experiencing, we're going to be traveling, we're going to be learning, we're going to be expanding. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it really is. And so welcome to this. I'm giggling. So many of you have been writing me and saying, Kira, this is like an emergency meeting. And so in quotes, welcome to this emergency gathering of all of us, the beloved lineage holders, those of us that have stayed the course, that have had fascinating journeys along the way. And before we go any further tonight, I do just want to share, Shri and I are going to move for a moment. Check this out. Look at our background, okay? What you are looking at that's our mountain right there. Those are the compadres. Check out this rainbow. Like, it's so big. Like, I can't even look at this, guys. You see this? There we go. I've got to like really dive down here. So this is so serendipitous. This was not what we were originally planning for our background this evening. But the reason we're so excited is that Shri and I had, and look, if I get closer to Shri, we're in the rainbow. Isn't that cool? Check this out, right? Look how big this is. Is this phenomenal? And so it was completely full. We just couldn't get it all in one shot. But what we are finding so exciting is that Shri and I had just finished. This has been a really big lineage holder day, guys, and it's still building. And I think you're feeling that in Shri and I. And just as we sat down and we're literally just giving our thanks and our blessings to the universe for this, for right now, what's happening with all of us this evening, Shri literally said, Kira, that rainbow just appeared. And so we are calling this the hashtag lineage holder rainbow. You guys created this rainbow. This is right here at Tosa Blue Mountain about, what, an hour ago? Hour and a half ago.
Hour and a half, 2 hours ago, right in there at sunset.
Yeah. Here.
There we are.
That way you can see the
Nothing
rainbow.
more to say or do.
Go ahead, sweetheart.
So we had prepared ourselves for tonight and sent out the email to those of you that signed up early. You got the PDF that we're going to be showing on screen, and for those of you that are YouTube, you're going to see it on screen.
Oh yeah.
So we're covering this both through the Zoom as a webinar and through YouTube for the overflow that we didn't want to risk anyone not getting into the webinar.
Yeah.
And we were kind of celebrating, relaxing for a moment, taking care of ourselves at the Water Therapy Center, looked out the window, saw this magnificent rainbow and going, well, what could be more perfect balance than a rainbow,
right?
Than all the colors,
yeah.
Than the unification and the delight that it brings.
Yeah.
Delight, man.
So welcome and welcome, because as you know, let's just take a moment and say, why are we here? We are here at a profound moment. We are here at a moment where, we are loved so much that the universe always keeps us on this need to know basis, right? But as we empower ourselves, as we arise into our mastery, as all of us collectively as lineage holders stand up and say yes to who we are, that need to know has really become need to right now. It is need to now. And those of you that were with us last year in June, you know that we did several timeline jumps together, and that we were all moving ahead in time because of what we had seen and things that were coming through. And I want to share with all of you watching that those two journeys, the core gathering of the masters and the lineage holders, are available in our home study. And we also have them available for free, which we'll tell you about later on, but they are there. And the reason I mention that is when we did those jumps, when we went through those programs together, we actually had enough light that went up into the universal experience. That was part of the reason that we are currently in this 2-year massive up-level experience. And it's getting harder than it has to be. Right now, there is a reason these up levels feel so intense. There is a reason it seems that it's lopsided. it's all revealing itself right now. And I want to let you share more, Sri, and we're going to keep going because there's a lot to share. We're going to go through the PDF, and then remember, we are going to culminate. And this is why we put the little warning for those of you that were at YouTube. We are going to culminate. We are going to take another time travel journey with all of us today. We're going to use the 6 steps. We're going to learn how to clear. And this one is going to happen from a very different vibrational state than the last time because everything has up leveled. So you want to make sure you've cleared away some space for when we finish tonight.
You know, we are at an amazing time, and I think it's important to acknowledge that as the planetary experience is having its experience, we as lineage holders are called upon to hold the light, to hold forward the highest potential for all beings. And it's an amazing thing. This is a paradox I think we get to dance with frequently. Love is power. Love and light have more power than fear and darkness. However, in the zone of polarity, there is always that teeter-totter that's going on. And it's important to radiate the love, radiate the light, radiate the positive, the rainbow of reality, using the backdrop, and to be present and visible in that. You cannot ever teach a person to awaken. You cannot ask them to awaken, but you can be the awakened energy, and they may then feel it and recognize it when it is their time. And so, beloveds, we are here as lineage holders, igniting the lineage holder mastery within ourselves, within each of you, and you in the communities that you interact with. Be the presence, be the light, and be, therefore, the joy.
Oh, thank you, Sri. And I know we're all collectively feeling it. You know, if you read our email we sent out a few days ago, Sri and I have been really in a state of very humble gratitude for a while now, for over a year. However, it's been amplifying the past few nights. And I do feel that I want to offer thanks first and foremost to all of you. Thank you for hearing the call. Thank you for doing whatever you needed to do to be here right now. Thank you for being on the planet. Thank you for saying yes to who you are. And I just want to take a moment and just honor you. Thank you, sincerely. And I next want to honor and say how much we love, honor, and cherish your incredible energy. To all of you that were, some of you on planes coming down here to Tosa Blue Mountain for our Cosmic Origins journey. And some of you got turned around even. So
and that journey kind of began today.
It did. We would have been together right now. And so thank you. Thank you for saying, you know what? The energy that's coming is so big. We're willing to step aside, and we'll see you later this year so that all of us can be together right now. And so to all of you who were on those planes and getting ready to be here, and we're going to be with Sri and I in person tonight, thank you for holding that sacred container, and we honor you. And we are excited to see you later in the year. So much happening. So thank you. I also want to offer my thanks and devotion to all of you who are right here, right now, saying yes to who you are with even greater presence. And I'm speaking to those who may not be informed. I'm speaking to those who are transiting many different dimensions. I'm speaking beyond this realm, and invite all of us right now to feel into our own heart and to feel into your own energy center right now. You know, just begin with the collective smile that together we are better, that no matter what the perception of numbers may look like in the world of form, the limitless truth is what is calling you forward now. And for each one that says yes, really says yes to that self-ascended presence, you are then immediately standing in a stadium of 100,000 others who have been waiting for you to walk up to the stage and say, I am here. And when that emanates from you, it sends a vibration through multidimensional realms, and you watch 100,000 others lift up out of their chairs to find their stadiums. And so thank you. We love you so dearly. Thank you. Yeah.
And I've been feeling the energy for many hours today as we're approaching this moment of this now. And in this now, we are collectively going to go through some information and kind of get us rolling in a line together. But I do want to acknowledge that you had a choice and you continue to have a
Yes.
choice. That spirit does in some fashion keep us on a need to know basis. And we always chuckle at that because who is it that needs to know? You know, it's the little child of density, that part of us that says, well, gosh, I don't know if I give permission to this. Whereas the soul's going, it's already done. We're on our way.
No, the soul's going there. I got this. Don't worry about it.
And so it's always fun to kind of dance with the dialectic, to dance with the different filters in our brain, because we are indeed refractory beings. And we can look through one lens and refract the light to conform in a certain way. We can look through another lens and refract the light differently. And there comes a point where we realize, why bother refracting that which is already perfect? It is only the limited perspective that thinks it needs to polish up the reality and shift it. And so all we need to do is see the perfection, to see the highest expression in every being and in this planet. And in seeing it, we amplify it. And in seeing it, we call it forward. And that is a kind of a synopsis of what are we doing today? Why are we gathered together? Because the perfection is calling.
Yeah, and the balance, bear in mind that when we went through everything that we've gone through over the past 2019 up until 2020 right now, the up-level opportunity that opened up, and part of the reason that opened up was our lineage holder gathering, which is why I'm so excited about tonight. I've been giddy all day. I'm like, the balance is coming back. The balance is coming back. And so what happened is that in just a moment, we're going to teach you about the fifth dimensional mirror energy. However, what we want to share with you right now is this, that fifth dimensional mirror energy, it is a two-way mirror. So everything below the fifth dimension, when it radiates to the mirror, the mirror radiates it back only with more power. And so imagine if you have a beautiful ray of sun coming into a pure mirror, that ray of light that emanates off the mirror causes a fire. And so there has been, so to speak, a fire and ignition in the third dimension. And what that fire has done is that it has started an implosion. The way that it was shown to me the other day was I thought I was looking at a black hole. And this black hole is just, it's kind of an irony, because if you suck through it, you actually get back out into the universe again. So either way, you wind up there. However, while you're dancing in density, and especially if you're not fully anchored in the fifth dimension, that black hole is profoundly powerful. And so with the fifth dimensional mirror now online, it's like a huge Hubble telescope came online. All of the energy underneath the fifth dimension is mirroring back to itself as the up-level experience. And so what it means is, it's not that you can't lift through it, it's just that you have to be so committed and focused, or it is an easy distraction, because it's heavy and it's pulling. And this is why a lot of beings are hitting the fifth dimension, but they don't stay there. And remember, the fifth dimension is what? Compassion, breaking free, loving self, seeing the wider angle lens.
One of the things, and this is an important principle to bring into your understanding to help you move through what's going on as we're all on our individual paths of upliftment. This mirror energy, it's as if this lens has been inserted in the fifth dimensional zone. And so the third and the fourth dimensions are reflected back. And as we lift and get closer to the mirror, there's a piece of us that can say, well, I can still have a little judgment. I can carry a little fear, but I'm very ascended and I'm in the fifth dimension.
It's called, it is in that moment of the fifth dimension, that's where the spiritualized ego peaks. But that peak of the spiritualized ego is the same thing that starts to cause the collapse.
Yeah.
So it becomes very tenacious, lots of up and down, lots of incongruence, lots of, I'm the most authentic person you'll meet over here. And in reality, I'm terrified of being myself and anybody seeing the true me. So there's just so much polarity in that. And it does exist in
It
that,
exists.
in that entry.
And that's right at the entry level of the
Right.
fifth.
So right, kind of where the fourth and the fifth touch.
So the good news is people are touching into the frequency.
It's awesome.
And the challenge is they can't anchor there until they actually release the judgment, release the density artifacts.
Well, but what it is the fear.
The fear is what keeps it back.
And that's it. I mean, we're just going to cut to the chase because we're going to get to the PDF. So let's just cut to the chase. It's fear. You're afraid of looking at yourself. You're afraid of realizing if I stop blaming, I have to start changing. Take that in. The only reason we blame, the only reason we polarize, the only reason we do all of the crazy things we do, especially when we're in the face of massive expansion, which every being on the planet is in right now, which is why there's this journey back to the root center, right?
Yeah.
But the key is to remember that in this moment, right now, breathe in, and give yourself the gift of knowing. I mean, I think we have to cut to knowing.
Yeah.
And that's the only way we let go of the fear. Because if you don't let go of the fear, and forgive me for cutting to the knowing, it's just like, let's collapse this even more. But if you are afraid of looking at yourself, if your ego is saying, I am perfect and I know everything I'm doing is perfect, well, that's your first tip off, is your ego saying it. The sign of true mastery is when we stop and self-inquire. When we notice, it's not that we'll be perfect. It's just that the way we move through those moments shifts with greater rapid propensity and mastery.
And we get to dance with the paradoxes, because as long as we're interacting in some fashion with density, we will have certain stimulations that will affect how we look at things. And then we have to recenter in our ascended being, in our ascended frequency, in order to hold the love, the peace, the joy, and the opportunity to live a fully ascended life.
Yeah. So let's jump to the PDF and go through these 6 steps that were given to us by the divine directors. Those of you that have time traveled with us before know that it's a very intense, beautiful experience. The reason we want to go through the PDF before we do this is because we feel it's important for you to understand exactly what it is you're going to be doing and how to get there. We will stop the share when we are done with the PDF, and then we will go right to the actual process. I don't want to call it a ceremony because it's a process.
Yeah. Well, just to say it differently, so your density brain doesn't interrupt the flow.
I'm spirit, he's density. Nice to meet you.
We're going to go through the PDF, which will help give you some understandings and prepare you. And when we get to the end of this, take a breath, because we're moving right into the experience of lifting out of the density lens, moving right up the divine galactic blueprint into the connection where timelessness becomes a reality.
And we are going to leave you there. The way that we normally stop these types of gatherings is we go through all the left brain stuff, which is why we're going to do the PDF right now. As soon as we complete with the PDF, the only way Sri and I will be able to communicate with you tonight is via the Q&A feature if you have called in using Zoom. We will, right after the PDF, we will take about 5 minutes so we'll go through the Q&A. Remember, we will only be answering questions that are about the greater picture. It's not a time to ask for a mini soul reading. If you would like a mini soul reading with me, join me on any of my radio shows, and I would love to offer you that gift. And better yet, subscribe, guys, to official.Sri and Kira over at Instagram. Bria Rose, I promised her I would say that. So Bria, I did it. Bria started it. And Sri and I are not the social media people, but I know this Instagram is massively amazing. Bria's been doing an amazing job. So again, over at Instagram, official.Sri and Kira. And of course, if you have not yet subscribed at YouTube to official Sri and Kira, please do. We'd love to have you as part of the family.
Yes.
So let's look at the cover. We're viewing this right now.
Yep.
Okay.
It's up on screen.
So the reason for the cover, my loves, is because today we are here in this year of perfect balance. We are actually here on the first moment of perfect balance of this year. So it's just a double amplifier. And if ever there was a moment where the energy needs to balance, if we have that energy that feels like a black hole, and if we have that energy, then the best thing that we can do is to invite balance so that the illumination energy is just as strong. And so this is a beautiful moment. We are not trying to affect anything. We are not interfering with anything. We are not imposing will on anything. We are simply literally coming together into a timeline experience to restore balance. And so it is a blessing and welcome.
Welcome indeed.
Yeah, we are on page 2 now.
Page 2, saying yes to your divine empowerment is an ever-refining journey. Take a breath right there. We are walking an ever-refining journey.
Spiral.
And that will take you into the depth of your shadow, and in many ways, literally through the valley of death.
I want to stop right here because we are at this moment spiritually. In the past 24 hours, I witnessed beautiful people who have so much potential throw it all away because they're that afraid, because their shadow is in front of them and they're loving the ego more than their expansion. And that is their choice. And all we can do is smile and celebrate. And beloved ones, get ready for this. This is going to start amplifying, amplifying, amplifying. Shri and I put out an e-card today with a new article in it. Did that article get posted on our website as well? Not yet. It'll be posted on our website tomorrow. But, my angels, remember that. Let me just give one example. The culture of hoarding, to hoard, is me consciousness. It's density consciousness at its lowest level. It says, I believe in scarcity. I only care about myself. Thereby, as long as I have everything I need, I don't care if you go hungry. And that is a concerning energy. And so that is a moment of walking through a valley of death. And so I just wanted to stop because remember, my angels, the real virus is that which is infecting your soul's energy. And we have more to say about that in just a moment. Go ahead, Shri.
Well, as we complete this, this sharing, it is also true that as you walk through that valley of death, you fear no evil. This is the moment to release all fear and lift through the perception of evil.
Really take that in, my angels, because as you and I were just talking about earlier, at the end of the day, when we cut to the chase, it's all about fear. And this is why we're talking about this before we make the time jump, because it's important we come together and move forward together. All right, Shri.
Whoa.
Hey, there we are. Okay. And so page 3, the cosmic prime meridians, star consciousness, and navigating parallel timelines. Now, first of all, you may just want to gaze into the graphic. Just take a moment. We have it up on screen. Let go of everything. And let me just share with you what you're looking at, because that's what matters the most right now, is what you're actually looking at. And this graphic, first in the center of it is, you'll see third down at the bottom. That's the third dimension. 5th dimension, 7th dimension, 9th dimension. And this is the representation of how we witness ourselves out of our body. We will be guiding you through this evening. And that if you look kind of superimposed over that, you see this beautiful head that has really become a beautiful conduit of cosmic energy. Well, this is the energy field of your illuminated ascended presence, where you literally are witnessing all of this at once. It would be like having 4 computer screens in front of you and absolutely knowing all 4 at once, even though they're all doing something different. And if you gaze at the bottom where the 3rd dimension is, you notice it starts at the heart center. That's because in our ascended presence, in our ascended journey, in the journey we're going to be taking this evening, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd chakra relax and are sufficient to hold on to all that the body is, while you safely can lift out without any concern. And the other piece of this that's important to remember is that the 3rd dimensional self, that anchored ascended heart, also becomes the greatest protection you could ever have.
Yeah.
When our heart is in ascended presence, only good happens. Only the highest can be served. It's like a built-in stopgap, right?
It is truly a conditioning, energetic conditioning of the space and the circumstances that you will call to yourself.
Yeah. And if you see those two white lines, those are the cosmic prime meridians. And what Shri's showing you also is the star consciousness, which is that star there. So this evening on our journey, we will be going through star consciousness. We just wanted you to be aware of it. The third eye is between the eyebrows, but the star consciousness is about 1.5 inches above it. It has a direct gateway into the higher realms. It is an activator of higher brain function and greater cosmic connection. And so oftentimes people feel headaches and pressure, or they feel like a heaviness around this area of the head. That's because the star consciousness is trying to lift, and the cosmic prime meridians keep that open. Why is all this important? Because this is the energy that safely and easily takes us through parallel timelines and assists us with the journey we'll be on this evening. Let's go to the next slide, Shri. All right.
When people are afraid, they will give away their power. When people are terrified, they will give away their soul.
So this is the evolution of the fear. And this is why right now you are seeing what is happening, because this is fear without any support. This is very much a direct attack on the third chakra. Every time I connect with this energy, and I suspect a lot of you too, there's a lot of reasons people are having challenges with this area. It's our point of center, it's our stability. And so again, it is a moment where the up-level experiences have become very intense, and they were never meant to be this intense. Remember, we have this 24-month window. What has happened is that because the fear has now morphed into the terror, that 24-month window is being sucked into that black hole. And that's why the up levels are like, hey, wake up, hey, wake up, hey, boom, wake up.
Yeah.
And that's what led to tonight.
You know, one of the qualities of the black hole metaphor is
Yeah.
that everything is drawn into it. And this is what's happening in density right now, that we've seen this incredible acceleration of this contraction energy.
Very.
People do not want to feel terror, so they will displace it. But if you look at their actions, you can see that they are truly terrified.
And this is why there is a war for your soul going on right now. And read the email we sent out today. And if you're not on our newsletter list, get on it and get the email. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay. This is the 6 steps of mastery. Now, this ensoulment is very profound. And I might invite you even to bring your hands to your third chakra. I'm feeling a lot of third chakra right now, because this is a moment of really strong empowerment. But the divine directors came through before our show, Explore the Mysteries, last Saturday, and I barely got on the air. It was one of those days where I slid into a chair as Shri's clicking go, and I'm trying not to, breathe too heavily, because this is what was revealed. And I really thought we were going to do it on the air the next day. But then it kept revealing more. And so it was clear that this was the process to give to you, that it was for us to just give to you. And so we are giving you this process. And it was a very fascinating journey. I will share that with you. So as you're gazing at this right now, you notice that the 5th dimension is the broad band there. And the reason that the spiral is against the mirror is because the 5th dimension has opened up this mirror energy. So everything above the 5th dimension reflects it, and it gets a lift. Everything below the 5th dimension reflects itself, and it feels more compressed. And this is why so many are afraid to break through their ego, because it means you have to really look at yourself. You have to take off the wording that says, I know how to say I have all the right words, I know all the right words, but you got to take off the mask and really say, and now I know what they mean.
Yeah.
And so let's learn those 6 steps, huh? All right, here we are. So right in the middle of the 6 steps, of course, this is the cycle of ascended consciousness, that we are always spiraling through awareness, experience, choice, awareness, experience, choice. And when these 6 steps came in, how it came in was, it reminded me of years and years ago. You remember Neil Donald Walsh?
Yep.
Remember he had those great books, you know, how Conversations with God and however many. That was kind of how this happened, was that I often spend a lot of time in multidimensional experience. And I was noticing that as I was asking the same question, which was, what do Sri and I, how can we help you guys more? Hence, all of this has come forward. The dialogue began.
Yeah. Yeah. And part of this dialogue was the revelation of some focal points, some steps, that these focal points would assist you to move through the surface of what's going on. I think one of the biggest traps to our consciousness is the thing of what is actually wiggling. You know, when a magician waves his hand, your eyesight goes there and you don't see what the other hand's doing. Well, your shared reality is very much like that. When there is a flash of energy or a flash of action, it tends to pull our attention, and we only if we have assumed an ascended perspective can we see the whole canvas. So the question is, where are you? You know, are you taking in the whole canvas, or, you know, or gradually expanding that? Because we all have our process, we all have our journey.
And there's a lot of addiction right now to the chaos.
Yes.
You know, you might really say, okay, I really want to let go of this, but you're still seeing it all and it's affecting you. And you know what? That's what I love about this ensoulment, is that this ensoulment is basically saying, we know it's affecting you. Don't deny that you are. You can say all day long, I'm perfect, I'm not affected. BS. Deep down somewhere, there is something that is still going on inside of you. And when you have resolved all of that, wonderful, radiated even more. So what happened was that these steps came in, and we're going to read to you what the step is. And then I'm going to share with you exactly how I personally walk through it. And are you going to share?
Sure.
Because we want you to understand how the process works, because what this process is saying, what the divine directors gave us, guys, was literally step by step. Okay, here's what's going on. Here's how you can literally, and it's a wheel, here's how you can literally move through the awareness experience choice of this to actually lift through it. We were given an actual process. And it's important you know this before we time journey right now, because there's a lot of goop sitting in the fourth. And on our way up, we have to transit through.
Yeah. And these steps will be something that you can work with after
over and over again. Yeah. All right. You want to give them step number one?
Step one. So
all right. You ready?
First, notice what is really standing out in your consciousness.
To your consciousness.
Notice what's standing out, instead of noticing what's trying to control your consciousness by being the loudest, being the boldest. So whatever makes you really pause, actually read an article, go beyond the headline, that is what's standing out to your consciousness and inviting you to greater awareness.
Now, this came out on March 14th. And so on March 14th, you know, I really took that seriously, because it was interesting how I even got to where this ensoulment came in. And, you know, when they say, well, first notice what is really standing out to your consciousness. What is your consciousness seeing? Not what the world of illusion wants your consciousness to see, because you're going to get that. In other words, they're saying, okay, go beyond that. So like right now, as we are coming together in March 19, 2020, COVID is what's trying to get your attention. You can barely get beyond it anywhere. You can't not hear about it. Sri and I had people WhatsApping us from down the street today. I mean, you can't not be around it. So they're saying, okay, look at that. Now, is that also what's really standing out to your consciousness, or is there something else? So on March 14th, which was 5 days ago, what was standing out for me that day, along with all the COVID stuff, which I saw, but what really stood out to me was, I thought it was very fascinating that Naomi Campbell showed up at an airport in her fashionable hazmat suit and got a lot of press coverage for it. That really hit me. And I noticed where that was starting to take me, and it brings us to step number two.
You know, and just to participate in that, as I was working with this, what I realized was all of the noise about COVID and all of the arguments about it, what stood out to me was the fact that I read a little blurb in one of the science magazines that the regular flu cycle in the country, there's 56,000 deaths a year, and that isn't getting coverage. What's getting coverage, what was trying to control my consciousness by being the loudest, was the COVID,
Right.
versus understanding there is a cycle.
Right. And that's what we're going to get to. And now, so let's go to number two.
Number two.
So it was Naomi Campbell wearing this hazmat suit that had my attention beyond what was trying to get my attention. And similarly with Sri. So number two.
Let's notice where that takes you as you go deeper into the expansion of why is it that your consciousness wants you to see.
So why is it that you are seeing that?
Yeah.
Okay. Why does that have your attention? So this is the multidimensional opening. And so this is what was really power-filled for me as I walked through this. So first, what was really standing out in my consciousness versus what was wanting my consciousness to see was the whole hazmat suit thing at the airport. And then where it took me was that, oh my God, this is how we separate the separation. You know, this is how we refract the refraction even more. And I noticed that the more I went with that rabbit hole, it was taking me even further. And so then that brings us to step number three.
Number three, then notice the story that you are hearing or being shown or knowing about that which your consciousness wants you to see.
So my rabbit hole, just in complete authenticity, my rabbit hole was, okay, so this is the way that we're going to make hazmat suits fashionable. We're going to get people to say yes to like the ultimate self-imposed burqa, self-isolation through not only you have to go out on the street in a mask, you have to be wearing a full-blown suit. So let's make them chic, let's make them fashionable. And that way it's something everybody will want and they won't mind buying, but it's all about the first chakra, because it was all about feeling safe when it comes right down to it, right? I've had people send me emails that are also saying that, you know, they were sitting across from people wearing gas masks and other things. So this is about pulling humanity down into the root chakra. And this is where my rabbit hole went. Then to kick it. So this is when you know you're going down from the fifth, from the seventh. I mean, I was all the way down. I was right almost there at the third because the former CEO kicks in, right? You know, I was a CEO for many, many years. And that came forward and all I saw was the background greed machine. That this is all about who can profit the most. And this is capitalism 101, right? Create the need, then fill it. You know, this is all about being able to literally make life make as much money as possible. Let's just put it that way. And it took me to Archangel Zadkiel. And this is where it gets important because you can see where I was going. I was spiraling and what was fascinating is I was witnessing the spiral. But then where that took me was Archangel Zadkiel, because at my core is the consciousness. And as I was able to witness myself witnessing what was happening in this spiral, I then remembered Archangel Zadkiel from Sacred Union, The Journey Home, our amazing book. If you don't have it, please read it. And in there, Archangel Zadkiel talks about the false god of money, and that the time when the false god of money will sit on the throne. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then where does that go? And that led to step four.
Step four.
All right, you with me? And again, we're just sharing with you so that you can process this through yourself. Exactly.
Notice if you can stop the thread of the spiral that has been created from this engagement. Notice as it seeks to keep you going downward with this potentiality. And notice that conspiracy is actually the delusion of the illusion.
Breathe that in. Conspiracy is the delusion of the illusion. Just take in how removed that is. Ooh, wow, I felt a lot of you hold your breath. Yeah. A lot of you just had a lot of throat chakra, upper, higher heart. Let's take a breath before you continue. Much better. Okay, yeah.
And there is always a thread of reality within each delusion, as it is an aspect of the creation that is within all. It is the active presence of the witnessing of the downward spiral, that calls forward the stop and begins another spiral of expanded consciousness.
So Sri, can you go back a page?
Yeah.
So I want to go back one page, guys, right here. So this is where this makes even more sense. So what they're saying here is that, and in my case, it was I got to Zodkill, and then I went, oh my gosh, where does this all lead? Like I realized what I was doing. And so what they're saying here is that it's important to realize that it seeks to keep you going downward, meaning you might have been in a seventh or a fifth dimensional experience, and now the minute you start dipping down, you have that light reflecting itself. And this is why it's important to pay attention. And this is why it says it is the active process of the witnessing. Remember, the witnessing is seventh dimension. So it is the active presence of the witnessing of the downward spiral that calls forward the stop. And then you start going in the other direction again. The minute we hit the stop, we get to start spiraling into another energy of expanded consciousness. And that brings us to number 5. Let's share number
Let's keep
5.
going.
All right, let's go back to our circle. There we are, number 5.
Re-engage and notice again that which is really standing out to your consciousness and that which is trying to control it by being the loudest, etc. What is your experience?
So this is interesting because what they're saying here is now go back and notice what the noticing was earlier, which for me had been that whole hazmat suit thing. But this time they're saying, and also notice it with what is calling out the loudest. So it's actually a new engagement. It's very unique and very different. So for me, and again, this was all on March 14th, this all happened. The first thing I noticed after I was aware that I was noticing was the fact that Erykah Badu had just shown up to accept an award wearing a designer-made hazmat suit. And it was getting rave reviews. It was even getting reviewed. And I noticed then that the worldwide energy of fear had risen to the terror level. Those were the two I noticed together. And, you know, creation in the realms of density is expanding. And thereby, we are now starting to sell the benefits of isolation, and we're having that experience. And that's what led me to the last Mimsy. Mm-hmm. And so for those of you that listen to our radio shows, last weekend, we gave you an assignment and said, go find the 2007 movie, The Last Mimsy, M-I-N-Z-Y, watch it. And that's where it brought me. That's how the Mimsy came back in. And to realize that it was, and this then took me to, of course, the journey of the awakening of those who have forgotten at a level so deep, they forgot what they've forgotten. Breathe that in. That's why we're here tonight. You know, that's why we're coming together, because the mirror of that multidimensional ascended presence had to open. And as that mirror, because this mirror just opened, this has been part of the up level. And so as this mirror has opened, this is the full illumination, and it's before everyone. And what it has created is the choice to determine what you see. And these steps actually give you like a scientific process and a way through it. So please write down these steps. Make sure you use them. We're not going to go through them together as a group before we do the journey. However, what our intention was to give them to you for you to breathe in the energy of this collective community and be able to work through in quantum space right now, whatever would try to distract you from a very successful time jump with us that we're going to be doing in just a few moments.
One of the things about actually slowing down and kind of going through the steps, noticing what's pulling your consciousness, notice what's squeaky and what's beyond that. Step 6 is notice what you are noticing and then begin again.
And that's why it's a circle, right? Step 6, notice what you're noticing, now continue.
and I know in my process, when I started looking at this whole COVID and the flu and the rest of it, I began, my rabbit hole took me to the recognition of the expansion of victim consciousness and how victim consciousness tries to call forward a savior or a persecutor, you know, either one. Give me either a deeper persecution or give me a savior. And that this,
or keep me a victim.
Yeah. And this cycle was pulling my attention. And at some point I began to realize this is not my dance.
Right.
This is a repetitive recognition that a part of my, call it more dense brain, my density brain, dances with. And when we begin to lift out of the third and the fourth dimension and begin to hover in that fifth dimensional compassion, we break through at some point with the non-judgment about this process.
Yeah, we do.
And become just the radiant being that is your authentic essence.
Well, absolutely. You know, and in that spiral that we were showing you too, remember that what's happening right now is that the fifth is getting extra amplitude for everything above it. So that's why it's a much easier time for us to all be working with seventh and ninth dimensional frequencies. That's why a lot of us are anchored now in seventh dimensional frequencies, because we have so many beings trying to stay in the fifth and lift through the fifth when the fifth itself is having some challenges. So that's part of why the mirror came in. The mirror was kind of slipped into the fifth dimension as almost a buffer. You know, it's like, okay, it's like we're standing on liquid light. Think of it that way, rather than thinking of it as a mirror, because that's really how it's shown to me. It's like liquid light was poured into the middle of the fifth dimension. And those of us that are anchored in the fifth and seventh and working with the ninth are helping to keep that liquid light there. That's another reason we're here, is to also, though, restore the balance, that we don't need this liquid light here, that we can be showering it in other places. This was an emergency measure in all ways. And so it is a powerful moment, because the downward spiral, when you're going 5, 4, 3, that's complete isolation from your true nature. Yeah. That's when humanity has given away the soul. When you become a mechanical, you're really a mechanical creature without any illumination. Yeah. Tell me what to think, tell me what to watch, tell me what's funny, tell me what's not, tell me what the truth is.
You know, the whole thought of giving away your soul is really saying, I am denying my soul's essence.
Exactly, that's exactly
in favor of this publicized or powerful, seemingly, concept worldview. To deny our soul's presence is saying, I don't want to open my upper chakras because they will disconfirm the limited reality I've chosen to align with.
And my ego is stronger than my passion and commitment to expand. Yep. You got to make a choice. At some point, you will have to walk through your ego. And you can either celebrate that moment or let it stop you. And that's okay. That's the blessing of this co-creative nature. We'll get plenty of times to try.
It's indeed part of the fun.
It is part of the fun. So let's go to the next page and get ready to make this jump. All right. Welcome. Okay. In order to move forward and do this journey, we want to acquaint you to the 4 steps that we'll be using. And this is why this PDF was really created, to give you all of this background information, so that our prayer, our sincere prayer, is that you can sincerely relax into the experience we're about to co-create together. And so what you are seeing is the Divine Galactic Blueprint.
Now, the Divine Galactic Blueprint, if you gaze closely at this drawing, you'll see the human form there at the bottom of the picture. Mm-hmm. And the Divine Galactic Blueprint begins with the heart chakra. This is the ascended chakra system. So the 7 traditional chakras associated with the body and the spine are overlay. And that when we lift through the issues of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd chakra, and we begin to anchor in the 4th chakra, our heart, we then have the option to open the ascended chakra system. We can align with that, and we can begin to move upward into the higher dimensional frequencies and travel in the cosmic realms. And so this 12-pointed chakra system, like I say, begins with a stable heart chakra, and we move up into what we refer to through the truth chakra, the 5th, into the exploded crown, the opened crown energy, and beyond.
Yes. And what you can see at the very top, if you follow that, if you notice, there's an ignition that happens at the 3rd eye. You see that? So as that ignition ignites the violet ray energy there, which is the 5th dimensional gateway, you'll notice at the top of that purple diamond looking shape there is another cosmic opening.
That's
and then
that's
another gateway. Then that takes us up into the gold, which is the 9th dimensional frequencies. Then you notice there's a gateway there that opens up the chalice. You see that? So at the very top of the gold diamond, it opens up to the 2 points, which is the chalice. That is the chalice that holds. That is the sacred chalice. At the top in the center there, that is the cosmic gateway. And so when we ignite the 12-pointed Divine Galactic Blueprint, and if you want to learn more about the Divine Galactic Blueprint, go to ShriandKara.com. It's right there under the Art of Ascended Living, Yoga of Self-Ascension. Learn about it. So tonight, we're going to be opening this time travel gateway through a 4-step mastery process. And what's important to remember is that you do not have to understand the Divine Galactic Blueprint to do this, but because we're going to be using some of that language when we start this process, we want you to be aware. You might want to leave this slide up. You might want to gaze at it. It's totally your decision. So let's go through the 4 steps, Sri. So the first thing we're going to do is these 4 little lotuses here. We're going to give you what the steps are. We're going to finish this PDF, and then we're going to dive into our journey.
So we're going to begin the process by entering into what we call the core, which is the center of the resurrection energy, the upliftment energy. And we will recite the mantra of self-ascension 5 times in order to start moving into that state of alignment. Right. And we'll guide you through that.
Now, one of the things is that when we enter into the core, which as Sri mentioned, C-O-R-E, the center of the resurrection energy, when we enter into that, we will be using breath. And our breath is calling in the energy of what is the framework of support for cosmic time travel. This framework of support for cosmic time travel ignites in your field, ignites in your auric energy through a combination of 3 things. Steadfast, I mean really steadfast commitment, focused awareness,
yes,
just this really focused awareness, and complete trust. So in this moment, I want you to try breathing that in. Just try breathing in steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and absolute complete trust. Because those are the 3 energies. The steadfast commitment is, I keep my eyes on the divine at all times. It's just that simple. It is namaste, shivoham, I am. I keep my eyes on the divine at all times. I am you, you are me. And then that focused awareness is the multidimensional experience. Focused awareness means we're not limited or limiting through attachment our perception to this world only. When we are aligned with one world only, when we believe that this is the only context for everything, we are attached, thereby bound, thereby often easily dragged into density consciousness. And then, of course, complete trust, that's the core. It's the complete trust that really ignites that core, that carries that energy upward. And so that's the purpose for the mantra of self-ascension. And tonight, we're going to be doing the mantra of self-ascension in both versions because we are at a whole new state of up level. We'll be repeating for the first 3 times the traditional mantra of self-ascension, and for the second 2 times, we'll be repeating the ascended mantra. So this is also something to be aware of. All right, Sri.
Step 2.
Yeah.
We are going to, we'll start by being at the heart chakra, and then we're going to, step 2 is lift the energy to the top of the Divine Galactic Blueprint.
That's that cosmic portal.
Into the cosmic portal. So we're going to breathe and feel our energy lifting up into the cosmic portal where we ignite our field of light by calling forward the energy of the 5 as unified with body and spirit through the living Ankh practice.
Now, for those of you that may not know about the living Ankh practice, you won't have to stand up, but we will be breathing those flows into this evening's lift. If you want to learn the living Ankh practice, again, go to shriandkira.com. It's right there underneath the Yoga of Self-Ascension, where you have a whole tab of free practices that really work. What is important to understand, though, is that if I stand with my feet shoulder width apart, and you really want to be doing this outside, guys, now is the time to be doing this practice a lot. Stand with my shoulder width apart is great. My arms straight out, then I am the 5-pointed star, the eternal life, the resurrection, the core. I become stable. And remember that in that presence, that is the ascended Ankh. The ascended Ankh is the split bottom Ankh. And so it's important to remember that you are eternal life. You are eternal presence. Everything else is just an illusion. And so this is a very important step, number 2. Number 3, and you don't need to memorize these. We're going to walk you through them.
Yeah,
don't worry.
We'll be guiding you.
Yep.
So number 3 is connection with the cosmic portal through the framework of support. Breathing in.
Well, and then go ahead.
And beginning the free fall through the timeline. So the breathing in We free,
begins the free fall.
and the breathing out becomes the recognition of timelessness, expansiveness.
So try that on right now. So just bring your hand to your heart, relax your breath. And I'm feeling a lot of tightness, guys. I'm feeling a lot of second chakra anxiety. So just remember, free fall into trust, because that framework of support is created through what? Steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and complete trust. So the framework of support is there as long as you are giving yourself that gift. And so right now, I want you to relax even more. Close your eyes if it's safe to do so. And as you, and breathe in, focus breathing in through the nose. And as you breathe in, feel yourself as if you're falling into the cosmos. Allow the free fall through the breath. You know, one of the ways I like describing this is if you've ever gone scuba diving, there was a moment where you had to fall off the side of the boat. And so free fall into this floating cosmos with the inhale. And then on the exhale, really slow, notice that you've arrived in this space beyond the time. Notice that you are in the timelessness, the expansiveness, and you begin adapting. And that brings us to number 4.
Number 4, accept this as you say yes to you, the place where all judgment melts and you discover that you are witnessing, and the 7th dimension is evident. Here is where your journey can be resurrected, for this is the space of neutrality awaiting to create with your mastery. Notice what you see and notice the you that is seeing.
And sensing and knowing. Remember that, as we just shared with you, you discover, and we're going to guide you through this, that you are witnessing. Witnessing energy is 7th dimensional energy. Remember that the 7th dimensional is witnessing the witnesser of the 5th, who is gazing at the 3rd dimensional witness. So in the witnessing of the 7th, what happens is that through this free fall into the cosmic experience and the expansiveness, you arise. This is the hashtag lineage holder arise. You arise witnessing so much. And in that moment, you are in that moment of saying yes to you. That is the moment where judgment releases, where everything comes back together. And so really breathe that in, still feeling a lot of 2nd and 3rd chakra energy from a lot of you. And that's a good thing, because our 2nd chakra wants to create, our 3rd chakra wants to be empowered. So let's move with that energy. And Shri, I think it's important for us to talk about the timing that we're going to do the ceremony now. And it's going to immediately start kind of running up to the starting field, but we're actually going to set the energy, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this, everything we've been sharing is preparatory, and we have a few more little preparatory things to share, and then we're going to move into the process.
Because we're going to want you to put everything away. We're going to put away the PDF and just do this.
The thing to also remember is we're taking advantage of a wonderful alignment called the equinox, and the equinox actually is at its moment of balance, its moment of empowerment.
Peak empowerment.
At 8:49 p.m. Pacific time. And that's still coming.
Right. And so we are excited that this energy is being put, we are calling together right now. In just a few moments, we're going to start this process. We're going to leave you in the process. We'll just gently end the broadcast, and we're going to set the intention. Sri Ramka will begin. And at the very beginning, Sri Ramka will set the intention that this energy is going to be like the most beautiful devotee waiting outside the temple, knowing that the temple is coming at 8:49. And I know that you're going to be there with me in front of the temple as well. I am certainly on my knees, and on my puja plate is us, is our prayer. And what we are offering at the moment that this energy opens is that we are right there saying yes, that there is enough of a presence that has come together on the planet that as long as we are enough, it's enough for the universe to go, okay, let's give it. We have to make the gesture. The up levels can be less intense. We can smooth out what's happening. All we need to do is hold the energy of perfect balance. And So in this moment, it's something that you want to start paying attention to your chakras. And we're going to finish the PDF. And remember that when we are done, we're going to close the PDF. We'll take a moment and see if there's any questions in the Q&A. And then we're going to go right into this beautiful experience together.
So one of the things that Kira and I came to realize is
in the past 24 hours, when it has just been like, oh my gosh,
is that as a community, we need to get together more frequently and practice this ability to not only up-level our personal experience, but to work together to continue to empower a positive collective.
And, I want to share, Shri, that Shri and I were feeling, we really had to work through, we felt that we really let you all down, that, we started everything with the lineage holders last year, put it out there, and we were all there together. But because of the physical issues that we went through and the other obligations that came in front of us, we did not keep this alive enough, even though all of you are living it and all of you are being it. And so we really made our deal with the universe that we get it. And so with everything that's happening on the planet right now, what we know is that together we are better.
Yes.
And what we know is that there were 6 sessions where we needed to come together to do every point of the Merkaba. And that 5 of those sessions, in the energy of that 5, were to get us through this 3-month period of intensity. And so we are going to do that, and we're hoping you'll join us.
Absolutely. And there's more information about this at our website. The thing to recognize is that this call, this recognition that we have come forward with, the dates that we will get together, there'll be 5 more dates should you choose to join us. They line up with some critical
up-level
moments. Critical up-level
It was
moments.
almost too uncanny, because we were clearly hearing 5 and then we were hearing 6, and then we understood what it was, that we all needed to be together right now. And then those of you that feel called, join us for the rest of the journey. And it's going to start next Thursday night again, but it'll be at 5 p.m. Pacific time to match with the 5 weeks that are coming forward. Just like tonight was at 6 p.m. to match with the 6-week Merkaba total. We are building the geometries. The alchemy is unfolding. And so we have made this as cheap as we can, and there is scholarship money available. Go to the website, and if your heart is calling to really be a part of this process of anchoring this energy of saying, we can do better, and together we are better, then join us. Please do.
It's a profound time to be with the awake.
Yeah, it truly is. And Shri, let's continue. And so here we are, guys. This is the mantra that we will be using this evening, when we will first be using the mantra of self-ascension, which is the one that is in there. I am here. I am ready. I am open. Guide me. A very profound, non-dogmatic mantra that will get you wherever you want to go, and it will always get you an answer. And then after 3 times of repeating that, we will move to open your mind, expand your vision, ignite your heart, heal the world, only we will be sharing it as open my mind, because we're going to be inviting you to repeat all these as we say these. So it'll just be the word my, open my mind, expand my vision, ignite my heart, heal the world. And so with that, we are grateful and we are so humbled, and let us stop the share and go to the Q&A. Shri, let's open that right there.
Let's take a peek.
And let's see what we have. Okay, well, we have right at the top, Dear Shri and Kira, this is from Astaria. Namaste, Astaria. Dear Shri and Kira, we love you. Astaria Serafina. Thank you, my love. We love you too. Thank you for sharing. Here's one from Tiffany. Can sinus headaches be related to the star consciousness trying to open? Yes. Big letters, like one of the major symptoms. So can a nose that never stops running.
Yeah.
Because the more light that we bring into our heads, often when we first ignite our star consciousness, we get flu-like symptoms. And so there's so many overlays here. So it's a great question.
And one thing I just want to point out, that all of the upliftment, quote, symptomology, remember, these are energies that express through the form.
Yeah.
And so the congestion within the energies are going to dance a congested energy through the form. The form is your sacred partner. It's your mirror.
Yeah.
So work with it, breathe up into it, and trust.
Yes. And drink a lot of water. I know that sounds cliched, but it honestly works. It really does. The other thing that I do, this is kind of like a Kira hack. It really helps with vibrational rate. It also helps keep my body more robust. I take a big pint bottle of hydrogen peroxide and I divide it into 3 portions. I leave 1/3 in the bottle, fill the rest up with warm water. I pour it into a little pan and I let my feet soak in it. And I can tell by the way my electrical field vibrates how much I'm needing to clear. And I do that a lot. So that also helps to keep a higher frequency so that you don't have to have all the other energies happening. So great question. Thanks for asking. Okay. Christian asks, is Archangel Michael incarnated as a human now? Well, Christian, I would ask you to ask yourself why it would matter, because it's a great question. I'm not going to give you the direct answer because the divine directors are sitting here and saying that that is a question for each being to come into harmony with in their own heart. However, I would invite you into the greater question, which is, and why does that matter to me? And then harvest the blessing of that and call that into you. We are at the moment where we are each carrying our sword or our trishul or whatever our divine cosmic power embodies as, and we are all 5-star generals standing at the top of the mountain together. And so, great question. Thank you for asking. All right, Sri, I can't read. I suddenly got very,
Okay.
wow, my vision went really multidimensional.
All
I
right,
can tell
this
we're
is
getting
from
ready.
Tonchi, I believe.
Hi, sweetheart.
How do we enter our memory estate? Honoring ourselves first. I had this question 10 years ago and received a quote from Charles Bukowski about drinking from the well of myself. I feel more mature and grown as a person and feel ready for your inspired answer.
How kind. Aw.
So just to repeat it, how do we enter our memory estate? Honoring ourselves first.
What we're doing. I mean, honestly, my love, you've just described the yoga of self-ascension. One of the most beautiful ways you can do this is to, in my case, I like using Rudraksha and Shiva eyes, but find a mala that calls to you. I sincerely encourage it to be 108+1 and sit down with it and sit with the blessing of you. Ignite your mastery. What we're doing this evening is going to take you right there.
Yeah.
And as you call forward that framework of support, steadfast commitment with focused awareness, and of course, complete trust.
Yes.
As you call that forward, that really assists you. The other thing I will say is, if join us for the next 5 weeks, and if you join us for the next 5 weeks, Shri and I right now, you can join us for the next 5 weeks, and we are literally giving you free the 2-part core gathering and the 3-part lineage holders, which if ever there was a moment when that information would help you, it's right now. So it's also about taking action, whether you take it with us or another, but take action to anchor. Release fear, release fear, release fear. Use the 6 steps we just gave you. Thank you for asking. All right, Shri, who's next?
Next question is from Nadia.
Hey, Nadia.
She asks, can we do this process lying down?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, please do. And in the future, when you would do it again, try it in a hot tub of water, low lighting, absolutely light white candles. But yeah, thanks for asking. All right.
All right. Tina asks, are we actually feeling the energy of our power, but we're taught to label it as fear?
Oh, Angel, let's all breathe, because boy, are you sharing the story of the hashtag lineage holder. You are sharing the story of density. This is an important question. They're all important questions. The key is to relax and notice. You know, I always go to what Archangel Zadkiel said to you about how do I know if it's of the highest?
Well, it's important to recognize that whatever is coming through, the experience or the information, as long as it is not calling forward judgment or asking you to judge, that's the number one thing, that it doesn't separate you from your true love.
That it doesn't give you, exactly, that it doesn't leave you with a sense of higher or lower, or a sense of superiority, or ego feeding dialogue.
Right.
You know, be careful. There is a huge spiritual activistic trap right now. And wow, it was put right in front of me the past few days. The right words, the right language, but when it gets right up to the moment of putting that into action, the ego comes right back in and justifies inaction and or polarization as a way of taking care of self.
Yes.
So pay attention. It's slippery, it's sly, it's prevalent, and it's everywhere. When you feel joy, when you are left uplifted, when you feel empowered and inspired, you celebrate that.
Yep.
And know the truth of it.
Your power is not recognized through comparison or opposition. It's not a positionality. It's a state of radiance.
Exactly. We love you. All right. Who's next, Sri? Thank you all for asking.
Colleen.
Hey, Colleen.
Just wanted to say that the scientific definition of a black star is a massive star collapsed in on itself.
Exactly, Colleen.
It got so big, it just went boom.
And that's exactly what it is. That's why I'm saying here's the perfection of it. And this is why when we spend time being preoccupied and worried, all we're doing is taking from our own beautiful creative self. Because even if you get sucked all the way in, the good news is you're going to wind up back in the universe of creation again anyway. Everyone's needs are being met.
Yes.
The greatest gift the universe can receive right now is you saying yes to you. Step number 4 of tonight. All right. Who's next, Sri?
All right. We've got Cassandra.
Hey, Cassandra.
And she says, so much love for both of you. Can the 6 steps be used as tools to decipher density and prevent falling back asleep?
Yes.
Wonderful.
That's why, you know, when it came through last Saturday, I was really out of it when we did our show. I don't know who showed up to do Explore the Mysteries last Saturday, but it was so clear by Saturday night, and especially when Sri and I got together, that we are being gifted with all of these processes because we are saying yes. This is why tonight is happening. When we come together and really send a focused beam out into the universe, then they know that whatever the they is, insert your own, whatever works for you. We are gifted with the knowledge and the wisdom and the connection because we have come forward as a master at the dining table. And hey, tonight we're feasting on rainbows. I mean, you got to love that, right? All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you for asking, sweetheart. Who's next, honey?
All right. Next, we have an anonymous attendee who says, I get a sharp pain when I feel my mind going super relaxed. So how do I get past this?
That is a great question. So the first thing is, where do you feel the pain? That's the part you need to pay attention to. It's not about getting past it. It's about going into that pain, because that pain is nothing more than a self-imposed prison of fear of you discovering who you really are. And Angel, I can tell you right now, I see why it's there. There's nothing for you to be afraid of. I'm really glad you're here tonight. I love you.
Keep breathing.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Okay.
All right. We've got Kenneth saying,
hey, Kenla.
Beloveds, I'm totally connecting to you for these 6 sessions from Chiang Mai, Thailand. And it's 10:49 a.m. my time.
And I have to share with all of you that earlier today, okay, right after Sri and I took this picture, and then we were like, okay, everything changed for this evening, right? I went downstairs, opened my email, and I had an email from Kenla, and he had sent me a gorgeous rainbow energy from Thailand.
Yeah.
So I'm loving the true rainbow bridge, right? We are worldwide connected right now. I know we have people on from a lot of different continents. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for bridging the dawn. Don't we love that we're literally at one moment moving from dusk, you know, from nighttime to beyond.
And the other thing I like, he mentions 10:49. He's referring to the equinox, I believe.
Yeah.
And so it's another thing, it reminds us of the absurdity of the clock.
Yeah, the linear time.
The equinox happens.
Right.
But depending upon our point of reference, we're going to label it with a different time.
Exactly.
You know, and so this is really an important one to take those 6 steps with, is we are cosmic beings that have localized a point of view.
Yeah, we really
and
are.
it's time to relax that.
It is. We're going to try and take a few more questions, guys. We can't take them off, and a lot of them are starting to come in. And so we're looking at the time. We will take just a few more, and then we will go into our session. So, all right, Sri, what do we have next?
Okay, Donna asks, thank you so much, Sri and Kira. The Gita has been helping me so much.
Thank you.
And she asks, are one-sided nosebleeds related to blocked cosmic prime meridian?
Could be. I'm not going to say it is, but yes, it very much could be. And again, pay attention to that, and also notice when the nosebleed occurs. Try to immediately pay attention to what was in your consciousness to just see if that connection is there. All right. All right, Tree, do we have time for any more, or should we go ahead and just I see down at the bottom, Akil is just saying hello. So we want to say hello to you, sweetheart. And we already got you hooked up for your scholarship too. So you're all set, Akil. And all right.
And I want to say to all of you, whether you typed in a question or not, there comes a moment where we must just relax the need to know.
Yeah.
And be in that steadfast commitment to the divine,
Yes.
to offer all of it up to the divine. And in that, our focused awareness is on the divine. Our trust is in the divine and of the divine, and it'll all settle.
Yeah. So, beloved angels, we are going to stop the questions now because we really do want to move into this process. And so the first thing we'll share with you is that to put away everything you can. Just, put away everything you can. You don't need to watch the screen. You can if you certainly want to, but you certainly want to be able to hear us and, be able to pay attention. We will be talking at about this level if you're adjusting your voice or adjusting your sound right now. Yes, you can be laying down. Please do not be driving. If you've got us on a cell phone or you're playing us through, your speakers or whatever, please don't drive. Like I would suggest, if you can't continue with the journey right now, then I really would suggest maybe revisiting it later.
And pull a car over.
Well, yeah, that too, right? That could be kind of cool. But this is a moment that we are sharing with you. You will be moving into a greater space. And all of you that are going to be joining us for the next 5 weeks, you will get the recording of this tonight. So don't worry about it. So go ahead and please start looking at preparing your place. Remember that we are going to be guiding you through this. There is absolutely nothing you need to remember or know. And if you have a white candle and you want to light it, you're welcome to. Or if you are by your own altar or whatever sacred space feels comfortable for you, please honor that and bring that forward. And Shri, what else should we invite them as we prepare?
I always like to remind people to give your body a little wiggle.
Yeah.
To just say, okay, we're going to relax more now. Yeah. Because oftentimes when we're watching something, when we're listening, we're holding a tension that we weren't conscious of. So this is a moment to be in happiness with your body, to be at peace with your body.
Yeah.
And we will begin right there. So beloveds, as we come together, it's important to start with the breath. Yes. Take in a deep, clearing breath and let it out with sound. Let's do that again. Big clearing breath. And any place in the body that needs a little wiggle to relax more fully, we send that signal through the breath. It is safe for me to relax now. And now as your breathing becomes more rhythmic, more relaxed, allow your eyes to close if it's safe to do so. And just think along with me or repeat to yourself the mantra that I will guide you through now. One more deep breath. I am here. I am ready. I am open. Guide me. I am here. I am ready. I am open. Guide me. I am here. I am ready. I am open. Guide me. Open my mind. Expand my vision. Ignite my heart. Heal the world. Open my mind. Expand my vision. Ignite my heart. Heal the world.
Allow your breath to become natural and soft. Notice that your body is comfortable and warm. Notice if there is anything left that is trying to say stop. And if you find it, reach out with the arms of the loving mother, offer it reassurance, and relax ever more into the arms of the divine that is holding you, has always held you, and will always be holding you. Feel this support as if you are floating on a beautiful mist. And you notice as that mist is transforming into a lotus now. And notice the energy of floating on this beautiful lotus now. And as you do, you begin to feel the gift of the spaciousness of a physical form that is smilingly radiant as you gaze at it from above, offering it a blessing and reassurance. Beloved, beautiful body of form, thank you. Thank you for the blessing. I am great-filled to be experiencing the creation of life with you. May you know that I honor you, that I love you, and that the moment we reunify, the presence of illumination will begin to anchor us with an ever greater gift of sacred presence. And begin breathing up again, consciously breathing through the nose, out through the mouth. Relaxing however you feel called. Notice your first chakra. Notice it. And just simply love it. You don't need to connect with it. You don't need to do anything with it. Just notice the energy. And then send your breath down to your first chakra and invite it to spin into an infinite symbol. Feel the energy of cosmic presence entering as this beautiful orbital chakra begins spinning as a beautiful infinite energy. And you may immediately notice some head pressure. That's okay. It's because it's already lifting you up. Move up to your second chakra. Oh, beautiful second chakra. Oh, center of great creation. Notice, just notice, and begin again moving this energy into this beautiful ascended energetic presence. Breathing up again, lifting into your third chakra. Oh, beloved chakra of empowerment. My heart surrounds you from all the dimensions. I invite you now to say yes to that which we are together. I offer to you my trust, and I know that if I offer that trust to you, together we will create extraordinary miracles. And you begin to feel that third chakra moving into an infinity experience. Smilingly radiant, you carry these three chakras, the infinite in the first, the infinite in the second, the infinite in the third, and your fourth chakra ignites. And you notice that it's bigger. And there is a horizontal golden energy that is now intertwined with a vertical energy, the Emerald 8. The Emerald 8 is intertwined with the golden infinite. This is the ascended heart. And in this moment, you notice that your feet are tingling. This is the energy of the ascended Ankh coming in, of the eternal life reactivating, because your ascended heart has said yes. Notice by what would be your left foot is a beautiful ray of beautiful white light just spiraling underneath your left foot. Just allow it to be there. And notice that under your right foot is this beautiful ray of golden light. And you feel these as if they are lifting you. And you begin to very slowly with your breath, breathe these rays of light up to where they're going to meet at the base of your spine. They've just met with that illuminated root chakra, and you notice that a rush of light is coming up through the first, the second, the third. When it ignites at the ascended heart, it shoots straight up through the fifth, the sixth, and out of your crown. And in this moment, you also feel energy radiating out from both of your arms, radiating out of your hands, for you have just entered and have become one as the cross of perfect balance, standing in the eternal presence of your divine nature. The divine galactic blueprint is ignited. Notice your heart as if it is the point of stabilization. Notice that from your heart, it is lifting up through your throat to the third eye, where you're feeling the ignition of all of the points of the higher chakras. Breathing in, roll your inner eyes up, gazing out. You will see the portal of crystalline light. Breathing in, breathing out. And on the next breath, we're going to begin the free fall. Breathing in, free fall into this pillar of light. And breathing out, you have arrived at the cosmic portal. Standing at the cosmic portal before you now is a master with their arms straight out. They knew you were coming, and they are here to offer you reassurance and absolute success, for this is the moment to make the choice. You are being invited to enter into the expansiveness of that which holds the current experience of parallel timelines. It is a gateway that contains all the energy, all of the creation, all of that which you are calling forward now. You are being invited to gaze up into your star consciousness now, to ignite your star consciousness, breathing up into this area. And as this beam of energy ignites and comes out of your star consciousness, you are being called to the exact moment of the equinox that is happening on this planet in this timeline right now at 8:49 p.m. Pacific time in the USA on March 19, 2020. Move ahead just those few hours right now, acclimate, and this is the moment to simply offer your truth. This is a moment of humble awareness. The bow, the permission, the invitation, and the complete trust that ignites the framework of support. Being received with equal humility and gratitude, the gateway is opening, and you are walking into the divine chamber where all of the parallels are flooding you. This can feel almost overwhelming. It can feel very vast. It can feel very confusing. And so you are supported. You are on this lotus. And in this moment, as you are acclimating and allowing yourself to receive, it feels as if we are now sitting in what would feel like a giant eye. And it's actually a cosmic portal, an energy of vast ignitions. And we are now being invited to first move to May 29, 2020. See it, it's like a gossamer light. Just see it. You don't need to be even sure that's it, but it's the light that will pull you the most. And allow yourself now to say yes once again, and notice what you are noticing on May 29th, 2020. And now Breathe in and free fall through that timeline and ask, what may I do to assist with the restoration of balance? What is my presence here? How may I assist with the restoration of balance? And call that energy in. Breathing in, lifting back. When we breathe in again, we're going to free fall again. And on the exhale, we're going to catapult ahead to the June solstice 2020. So breathe in, free fall, exhale. Go ahead. There you are. June solstice 2020. What are you seeing, feeling, experiencing? We're going to breathe again, and we're kind of go ahead to the September equinox. Breathing in, free fall. Jumping forward to the September equinox. Notice that these energies have been joining, that this huge ray of light that's coming out has been leapfrogging through this calendar. Notice where you are right now. Notice the September equinox. Breathing in again, we're going to free fall and go all the way to December. We're going to go to the end of the year, breathing in. We are at the last day of December. Notice if there are any dates you are being invited to go back to. You would simply breathe in and free fall to that date. Notice how your connections, how your light is lining up. Notice the pattern, notice what you're seeing, and take this moment now and ask, is there another date? Is there a moment that I need to see to assist with the restoration of perfect balance now? Now be in the ninth dimension with us here. Come up. Begin by witnessing the being that has been creating. Just simply relax. Open up larger. Witness the witnessing. Call forward you witnessing this experience. And as you do, relax into that witnessing of the seventh dimension and notice the witnesser of the fifth dimension. Notice if they need greater assistance. Notice what they need. And then notice the collective and notice what they need. And then, with only compassion, move into the fifth dimension as the witnesser. As you begin to notice again that which is calling from the third dimension. There is more for you to share, and your master is here. And the message that is coming through from the divine directors in this moment is saying, we are here for you to know hope, peace, and the expansion are all woven into the fabric of the experience. Open your real eyes. Pay attention to them. What are you ready to see? And then see beyond that. This is a moment where the cosmic connection is wide open and your heart is ignited with the flame of creation. We bow before you as we know you bow before us. It is all in perfect balance. We thank you and we honor you for the gift of your presence. It offers us harmonic balance as well. For together, all moves forward.